So I used to be a Cursor fanboy. Then I picked up Claude Code and Codex. So I basically had three in one. So what you're visually seeing right now is Cursor, the IDE with Cursor's built-in agent mode. Then on top of that, I actually run Claude Code using the UI, which is just under my face. You won't be able to see it. And then I also have a tab for Codex as well. And I have been using all three of them interchangeably quite extensively. I am paying for the $200 a month model for all three. So I know what their capabilities are, how to maximize them. And when I tell you this, I'm fully being 100% transparent. Claude Code is far superior than all of the above. And it's not only because of the model. 4.5 Opus is an absolutely amazing model, but Claude Code in general, the approach they took, the strategy they took to build it, it basically has full access to your terminal. Now, some people might take that as, oh my God, like that sounds like a massive security problem. And honestly, it probably is. Because Claude Code can read my .m files even if they're in my ignore file. And I know there are ways to like make sure it doesn't, but the fact of the matter is it has full CLI access. I'm going to hide my camera real quick. As you can see, I'm constantly running this in bypass mode. So it is effectively able to run commands. And yes, it theoretically 100% could delete my computer, delete my Windows folder. It could do a lot of damage. I fully get that. But the problem with the other two, so Codex and Cursor, they're both sandbox. They both use a sandbox version of the CLI. And that actually causes a lot of issues with what their capabilities are. It essentially limits the models and their capabilities, where Claude Code and their philosophy is go nuts. They're like, just go nuts. You know, open Pandora's box, let Pandora come out. Like, they don't give a rat's. You know what? Anyways, I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm basically gonna try and explain like why I feel that Claude Code is better. So between the three, I think that Cursor generally is probably going to be the most intuitive, easy to use, because again, it's a very UI first, very simplified workflow. I mean, they have full IDE basically built for you. So the other two tools are generally like add-ons to your VS Code, whereas Cursor is like a literal wrapper of VS Code. But on top of that, they have a lot of advanced UIs that is very, very useful. And the reason I actually prefer using Cursor over VS Code is they have built-in tab completion, right? I can obviously get tab completion on VS Code if I do some config and setup. But I'm a lazy dev. I'm like any other dev. I'm lazy, guys. So like Cursor comes with it out of the box. I used to pay the $200 a month model. Since I'm not using the agent mode actively and I'm only using it for tab completion, I reduced it to the $60 a month model and left it at that. Claude Code and Codex, on the other hand, are what does my actual workflow. Nowadays, it's literally only Codex. Sorry, literally only Claude Code. I don't even use Codex. Honestly, I don't find that. I don't find. So here, let's take a look at the benchmarks, right? If you look at the benchmark, 5.1 Codex is supposedly gonna benchmark higher than 4.5 Opus, and I think it even has a slightly bigger context window as well. But the fact of the matter is, the strategy that Codex implements and the limitations of it having a sandbox CLI doesn't allow for it to do end-to-end testing. What Claude Code can literally do, A, it can build a plan, B, it can implement the plan, but C, which the other two really can't, it can do it to some extent, but not really. C, it can test the changes end to end and iterate. And it's very, very intelligent and very, very smart at iterating. I maybe I shouldn't even do this, but I gave it Railway MCP access on the CLI, and it literally will continuously iterate until my Railway deployment is working. All I have to tell Claude Code is, hey, the deployment is failing. Can you take a look? It will use the Railway MCP, pull down the logs, devise a plan of fixing, fix it, sleep for X amount of time, wait for the build to pass or fail, and it will continuously iterate. Codex does that, but it doesn't do that if the sandbox does not have access to that CLI tool that you need to use. So Railway, you don't have access to that CLI tool in sandbox. It doesn't work that well. Cursor, same scenario. That is a massive, massive limitation in my opinion. I have gone from producing I would say I was producing maybe 8 to 10 high quality commits with Codex and Cursor. I've gone from that to 20 or 30. 20 or 30 high quality commits. And I actually am one of those weirdos who actually reviews their code still. I know a lot of people have stopped doing that. But I still review my own stuff. I still take a peek at it once in a while. I still do very thorough end-to-end testing, manual testing. And with Claude Code, the augmented speed that you get, the iterations, the number of experiments that you can run, the number of things that you can do literally increased by threefold. And that is why I am super, super sorry. My blinker thing is going off. I spend so much time on my computer that I literally need to blink. But yeah, so the workflows that I'm currently using Claude Code on is actually an open source product that we're working on. It's Agent Field. You can look it up. But basically, we are building the orchestration layer or solution for building agents at scale. So literal, actual coding agents or whatever. Not coding agents as an example. Marketing agent, sales agent, coding agent. These autonomous units or autonomous piece of compute that makes decisions and has access to tools. We're able to orchestrate them at scale. This is a very complicated system. There are a lot of different things about it. There's memory, there's networking, there's communication layer, there's scalability, there's different model setups. Literally, if we're using the Versal's AI SDK, Versal's AI SDK is so fragmented. There's literally 8 different providers that you gotta cover. Claude Code does them all, and it constantly iterates and it tests and it runs its own examples. And the other 2 solutions doesn't do the third thing. Remember what I mentioned. Plan, execute, end-to-end test. They can write functional tests. They can write unit tests. But they do not end-to-end test. And Claude Code does that. And there is absolutely no other competitor. I mean, listen, it's a matter of time before they make those changes. But I think, generally speaking, OpenAI's philosophy and Cursor's philosophy is the sandbox first approach. So with that being said, I don't know, maybe it goes against their culture and philosophy. They do want to kind of lock things down. Whereas I think Claude Code is a little bit more forward thinking there. Let's be real here. In a world where at some point in time the models get smarter and smarter and the tools get better and better, limiting the tools to have certain access because you're worried, some people are just not going to care and they're going to move faster. And I monitor my stuff, but maybe I'm going to bite my tongue. Maybe in 5 years from now, you guys are going to come I'm going to be on some news saying this idiot developer let Claude Code access his bank accounts and the Claude Code emptied it out or some shit. I don't know, bro. I don't know. But as of right now, I can't lie. I personally prefer it because of the fact that it's not sandboxed and it actually has direct access.